The disposal chute stank of rotting food and chemicals. Leo Bennett pulled his jacket tighter against the cold wind that whipped through the alley behind the marketplace. He had come here looking for a shortcut back to his ship, not expecting to find anything except trash and maybe a few scavenger rats. Something moved in the shadows near the chute opening. Leo froze. The movement came again, weak and small. His hand went to the plasma cutter on his belt, more habit than real concern. Nothing dangerous could survive in a place like this. He stepped closer and saw it. A dragon. Not a full-grown Draari warrior like the ones who ran half the trade routes in this sector. This was a baby, no bigger than a large cat. Its scales were dull gray instead of the brilliant colors he had seen on holovids. The creature lay on its side among the garbage, ribs showing through thin skin, one wing bent at a wrong angle. Leo should have walked away. Everyone knew about Draari customs. The strong survived, the weak died. That was their way, had been for thousands of years. Interfering could get him thrown in a detention cell or worse. The Draari took their traditions seriously. The baby's eye opened, just one, the other too swollen. It looked directly at Leo, not with fear or aggression, just looked like it was asking a question it already knew the answer to. Leo cursed under his breath. He knelt down beside the creature, ignoring the smell and the filth. Up close, he could see shallow breathing, could hear a faint rattle in its chest. This thing was dying. Maybe had hours, maybe less. Stupid, Leo muttered to himself. This is really stupid. He unwrapped his thermal jacket and carefully slid his hands under the baby dragon. It weighed almost nothing. The creature made a sound, something between a whimper and a chirp. Leo wrapped it in his jacket and stood up. The marketplace stretched out ahead of him, full of alien traders and cargo haulers like himself. Any one of them might report what they saw. The Draari had eyes everywhere. He pulled the jacket tighter around the bundle and walked fast, but not too fast. Running would draw attention. His ship sat in the cheap docking bay 3 levels down. The drift runner was old and scarred, but the engines worked and the life support never failed. Leo had been flying her for 8 years, ever since he left Earth. She was home. He made it halfway across the marketplace before the announcement echoed from the station speakers. A Draari patrol vessel had just docked. Standard inspection, the automated voice said. All beings remain calm and available for questioning. Leo's heart hammered. Coincidence, maybe, or maybe someone had already seen what he did and called it in. He picked up his pace. The loading platform was empty when he reached it. Thank whatever gods might exist for small favors. He punched in his access code, and the cargo ramp lowered with a hiss of hydraulics. Inside, he went straight to his small cabin and laid the bundle on his bunk. The baby dragon barely moved when he unwrapped it. Those dull scales felt wrong to touch, too cold and too dry. Leo had no idea what dragon biology needed. He was a cargo hauler, not a xenobiologist. He pulled up his ship's database and searched for anything about reptiles or large flying creatures. Earth had some back before the ecosystem collapsed. Komodo dragons, crocodiles, birds of prey, cold-blooded most of them, needed warmth and protein. The ship's heating system could go higher than normal human comfort. Leo adjusted the environmental controls and grabbed every blanket he owned from the storage locker. He built a nest of sorts on the cabin floor, piling the blankets into a circle and cranking the heat until sweat started forming on his forehead. He placed the baby in the center of the nest and watched. For long minutes nothing happened. Then one of the creature's legs twitched. The breathing seemed a bit easier. Food next. Leo dug through his rations and found the protein bars he saved for emergencies. He broke one apart and soaked the pieces in water until they turned into a paste. Using his fingers, he brought a small amount near the baby's mouth. Nothing. He tried again, gently touching the paste to the creature's lips. This time the mouth opened slightly. A thin tongue, barely visible, licked at the food, swallowed. Leo waited, then offered more. It took an hour to get half the protein bar into the dragon. By the end, Leo's back ached from crouching and his fingers were sticky with the paste. But the baby's eyes had opened fully. both of them watching him with an intelligence that surprised him. "Got a name?" Leo asked, knowing it was ridiculous to talk to something that probably couldn't understand him. "No, then I'll call you Pip, like the sound you made earlier." Pip closed his eyes and made that sound again, soft and trusting. Leo's communicator buzzed. A message appeared on the screen, official and cold. The station authority announced that Draari property had been stolen from the marketplace disposal area. Any being harboring stolen property would face immediate arrest and extradition to Draari justice. They called Pip property, stolen property. Leo deleted the message and sealed the cabin door. His fingers moved over the navigation console, plotting a course away from this station, away from anywhere the Draari controlled. The outer asteroid belt would hide them for a while, give him time to think, to figure out what came next. The Drift Runner's engines hummed to life. Below him in the nest of blankets, Pip had fallen asleep. One small claw had reached out during his rest, touching the edge of Leo's boot. Outside the viewport, the patrol vessel was moving toward the docking bays. Leo released the clamps and pushed the throttle forward. The ship lifted, turned, and headed for open space. Behind him, he heard security channels lighting up with demands to halt. He ignored them all and jumped to faster-than-light speed. 3 days into the asteroid belt and Pip still refused most food. Leo tried everything in his limited supply. Dried meat strips, vegetable paste, even his emergency chocolate ration. The baby dragon would take a few bites, then turn away, getting weaker instead of stronger. Leo sat on the floor of his cabin, exhausted and frustrated. The ship floated silent among the rocks, running on minimal power to avoid detection. He had maybe 2 weeks of supplies left, and that was if he stretched everything. Less if Pip needed specialized food he couldn't provide. "Come on, little guy," Leo said, offering another piece of soaked protein bar. "You have to eat something." Pip lifted his head but made no move toward the food. His scales had brightened slightly from the constant warmth, showing hints of bronze underneath the gray. That seemed good. But his body stayed too thin, ribs still visible. Leo pulled up the database again and started from the beginning. Earth reptiles needed heat, yes, but they also needed specific nutrients. Calcium for bones, certain proteins for growth. He had been feeding Pip like feeding a human child. Wrong approach. The ship's scanner pinged. Leo's blood went cold. He jumped to the cockpit and checked the display. A ship had entered. The asteroid field moving slow and careful, not a patrol vessel. This one was smaller, faster, built for tracking. A hunter. Leo killed all external lights and powered down everything except life support. The Drift Runner went dark and silent. Through the viewport, he could see the other ship passing between asteroids about 3 kilometers away. Scanning, searching. In the cabin, Pip made a distressed sound. Leo went back to find the baby dragon trying to stand, his small body trembling. Those eyes, now fully clear, stared at the wall in the direction of the other ship. "You can feel them, can't you?" Leo whispered. "Other Draari." Pip's distress grew stronger. He tried to crawl toward Leo, wing dragging. Leo picked him up carefully and held him close. The baby was shaking. "It's okay, I won't let them take you." But how could he promise that? He was one human in a cargo ship with failing supplies, hiding from a species that ruled dozens of star systems. Leo held Pip tighter, feeling the small heartbeat against his chest. The hunter's ship moved away, heading deeper into the field. Leo waited an hour before powering up again. When he did, he set course for the only place he could think of that might help. A mining colony on the edge of the belt called Rust Haven. Criminals and outcasts ran it, people who didn't ask questions, people who might sell him the supplies he needed. The trip took 6 hours. Pip stayed pressed against Leo the whole time, even when Leo tried to put him back in the nest. The dragon wouldn't let go, claws gripping Leo's shirt. Rust Haven looked exactly like its name suggested. A collection of HAB modules and docking tubes bolted to a large asteroid, everything covered in orange dust and age. The docking authority was an insectoid alien with too many eyes. Cargo hauler drift runner, state your business. The voice clicked through the communicator. Need supplies, food, water, fuel, got credits. A pause, then dock at Bay 7, keep your weapons locked. Leo brought the ship in carefully, Pip still clinging to him. He couldn't leave the dragon alone on the ship. Too dangerous if someone came looking. So he wrapped Pip in his jacket again and hoped no one would notice. Bay 7 connected to a market area, smaller and darker than the station he had fled. Aliens of a dozen species moved through the space, trading things that were probably illegal in most systems. Leo kept his head down and headed for a stall advertising food supplies. The seller was a short, wide alien covered in gray skin. She looked Leo over with 4 eyes, then looked at the bundle he carried. "That better not be contraband," she said. "It's not. Because if security finds contraband in my section, I pay the fine. It's just my jacket, cold in here." The alien snorted but started showing him packets of preserved food. Leo bought everything he could afford, paying too much and knowing it. He was about to leave when the alien spoke again. "Dragon baby makes chirping sounds, human. I can hear it, so can others." Leo stopped moving. His hand went to his plasma cutter. "Don't do that," the alien said quickly. "I'm not calling security, but others might. You need help, not supplies." "Why would you help?" The alien gestured to the back of her stall. "Because I remember what it's like to run. Come, quick." Leo followed, not sure if this was a trap, but out of options. Behind the stall was a small office where another alien waited. This one looked like a praying mantis, but twice the size, with multiple arms and antennae that twitched constantly. "Name's Chittick," the mantis said in surprisingly clear speech. "I run medical services here. Your dragon is sick. Weak, won't eat properly." Chittick moved closer, antennae reaching out. Pip tensed in Leo's arms but didn't fight. After a moment, Chittick stepped back. "Not sick, wrong food. Draari babies need live protein in first months. Insects, small animals, triggers hunting instinct and provides right nutrients." "I don't have live protein." "We do. Mining operations have pest problems, rats, beetles, other things." Chittick opened a cabinet and pulled out a container. Inside, something moved. "Feed him these 2 or 3 times daily. He'll strengthen quickly." Leo stared at the container of live beetles. It made sense in a horrible way. "Why are you helping me?" "Because Draari killed my family for being different. Wrong color, wrong size, wrong thoughts. Their purity laws are cruel." Chittick handed Leo the container. "That baby is alive because one human refused cruelty. Least I can do is help both of you survive." That night back on the drift runner, Leo opened the container and let one beetle crawl onto his hand. Pip's eyes locked onto it immediately. The hunting instinct kicked in. Pip struck fast, catching the beetle and swallowing. "It whole." For the first time since the rescue, Pip purred. 5 weeks changed everything. Pip had grown from the size of a cat to the size of a medium dog. His scales had turned deep bronze with hints of gold at the edges. The broken wing had healed straight, and he could glide short distances across the cargo hold. But more than his size, Pip's mind had grown. Leo could feel it sometimes, like a pressure at the back of his thoughts. Not words exactly, but feelings and images. When Pip was hungry, Leo knew it. When Pip was happy or scared or curious, Leo felt those too. It went both ways. Pip would calm when Leo felt calm, would become alert when Leo sensed danger. They had stayed at Rust Haven longer than planned. The small mining colony had become something like safe harbor. Chittick visited every few days to check on Pip's health and bring new supplies. Other colonists had learned about the dragon, and none of them reported it. These were people who understood running from something. But today, everything changed. Leo was in the market area buying fuel cells when the warning sirens started. Red lights flashed along the corridor walls. The automated voice was calm but urgent. "Unidentified military vessel approaching. All civilians to shelters. This is not a drill." Leo ran. The drift runner was docked 2 sections away. He pushed through panicking aliens and reached the bay in under 3 minutes. Inside his ship, Pip was already agitated, pacing the cargo hold with his wings half spread. "I know, buddy, I feel it too. We need to go." The cockpit displays showed the approaching ship. It was Draari designed, sleek and dangerous, not a patrol vessel or even a hunter. This was a military corvette, armed and shielded, the kind of ship they sent when they wanted to make a statement. Leo's hands flew over the controls. The Drift Runner's engines powered up, but undocking procedures took time he might not have. Chittick's voice crackled over the communicator. "Leo, don't run. They've locked down all traffic. You'll be destroyed before you clear the docking bay." "I can't let them take him. Come to medical section. Now trust me." Leo looked at Pip. The dragon was watching him, and Leo could feel the question in that stare. Trust or run? He grabbed the container of beetles and scooped Pip into his arms. The dragon had gotten heavy, solid muscle under those scales. They ran through the corridors, following the signs to medical. Chittick waited at a door marked storage. Inside was a large room filled with equipment and supplies, but Chittick led them to the back wall and pressed a hidden panel. A section slid open, revealing a narrow tunnel. "Old mining shaft," Chittick said. "Goes deep into the asteroid. They won't scan this far down." "What about you, if they find out you helped us?" "I'll deny everything. Go, there are emergency supplies in the deep section. Stay quiet and wait." Leo climbed into the tunnel with Pip pressed against his chest. The opening sealed behind them. Darkness swallowed everything except the small lights on Leo's wrist unit. He moved forward, feeling his way along the rough stone walls. The tunnel opened into a small cavern about 50 meters down. Emergency glow panels activated when they entered, casting pale blue light. Boxes of supplies lined one wall. Water, food, medical kits. Enough to survive for days if needed. Pip squirmed free and explored the cavern, sniffing at everything. Leo sat down on a supply box and tried to calm his racing heart. Above them, somewhere in the colony, Draari soldiers were searching, looking for him, looking for Pip. Hours passed in silence. Leo dozed off at some point, exhaustion taking over. When he woke, Pip was curled against his side, warm and steady. Leo's hand rested on the dragon's neck, and he could feel the double heartbeat there, slow and calm. A feeling pressed into Leo's mind. Not fear, curiosity, then an image fuzzy but clear enough. Leo recognized it after a moment. It was himself, seen through Pip's eyes, fuzzy around the edges like a memory. "You're trying to talk to me, aren't you?" Leo whispered. The feeling grew stronger. Affirmation, yes. "Can you understand what I'm saying?" Another feeling, partial understanding. Words were still strange, but emotion and intention came through clear. Leo leaned back against the stone wall. "We're in trouble, Pip. Your people want you dead because you're different. My people won't care enough to help. We're both alone in a galaxy that doesn't want us." Pip's head lifted. The dragon moved closer until his snout pressed against Leo's shoulder. A new feeling came through their connection, complex and layered. It took Leo a moment to understand it. "Home safe, Pack." Pip didn't mean a place, he meant Leo. "Yeah," Leo said quietly, throat tight. "I guess we're family now. Weird, broken family, but family." The communicator in Leo's pocket buzzed. He pulled it out carefully and saw a message from Chittick. "Soldiers searched everything, took samples and scans. They're leaving, said they'll be back if anything suspicious happens. Stay hidden until I signal safe." 2 more hours passed before the all-clear came. Leo and Pip climbed back up the tunnel and emerged into the medical section. Chittick was waiting with news. "The ship captain is named Roth Valen. He's not just hunting you. He's hunting every Draari who doesn't fit their perfect standard. 3 other dragons were killed in nearby systems last month. Pip isn't the first they've thrown away." "Why are they so determined?" "Because he survived, because someone saved him, because it proves their way isn't the only way." Chittick's antennae drooped. "You need to leave Rust Haven, not safe anymore, but I know a place. Coordinates for a station that takes in people like you and Pip." What kind of station? The kind that doesn't exist on any official map. The kind where being different isn't a death sentence. Chittick transferred the data to Leo's communicator. It's called Haven's Gate. Tell them Chittick sent you. They'll understand. That night, Leo prepared the drift runner for departure. Pip watched from the cargo hold, no longer the dying baby from the disposal chute. Stronger now, smarter, but still vulnerable in a galaxy that saw him as a mistake. Leo set the coordinates for Haven's Gate and hoped this mysterious station was real. Because running was getting harder, and Pip deserved better than hiding in tunnels. Haven's Gate appeared out of nothing. One moment the drift runner floated in empty space near a purple nebula. The next moment, sensors showed a massive station materializing from cloaking fields. Leo had seen military stealth tech before, but nothing this sophisticated. Cargo vessel drift runner, transmit your clearance code. Leo sent the data Chittick had given him. For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then the voice came back, different this time, warmer. Welcome to Haven's Gate. Proceed to docking bay 12. Someone will meet you there. The station was huge, built into a cluster of asteroids that drifted through the nebula's outer edge. Docking ports covered every surface, and ships of 100 different designs came and went. Leo had never seen so many species in one place. Bay 12's airlock opened to reveal a female alien with blue skin and 4 arms. She smiled when Leo emerged with Pip walking beside him. I'm Quillen. Chittick told us about you and your friend. How was the journey? Long, nervous. Is this place really safe? Safer than anywhere else in the galaxy for people like us. Quillen knelt down to Pip's level. The dragon sniffed her hand cautiously, then allowed her to touch his scales. He's beautiful. How old? About 2 months since I found him. 2 months and already this size? He's going to be magnificent. Quillen stood and gestured for them to follow. Come, there are others you should meet. The station's interior was clean but worn, showing years of use and repair. Aliens of every description walked the corridors. Some Leo recognized from galactic databases. Others he had never seen before. They passed a group of insectoids working on power conduits, a family of methane breathers in environment suits, and something that looked like living crystal. Quillen led them to a large common area with windows overlooking the nebula. And there, scattered around the room, were dragons. Pip stopped moving. His whole body went rigid. Through their connection, Leo felt confusion and excitement and fear all mixed together. There were 5 Draari in the room, all different sizes. One was barely larger than Pip with pale green scales. Another was massive, easily 3 times Pip's size, colored deep red. They all turned when Pip entered. The green one approached first, moving slow and careful. She sniffed at Pip, making soft sounds. Pip responded hesitantly, copying her movements. Then the red dragon came closer and Leo tensed. But the big dragon simply touched his snout to Pip's head, gentle and welcoming. They're saying hello, Quillen explained. In their own way. These dragons were all rejected by Draari culture. Too small, wrong color, too gentle. They've built a community here. Pip could stay with them. Leo watched the dragons interact, feeling something tight in his chest. Learn things I can't teach him. He could, but I don't think he will. She was right. After a few minutes of exploration, Pip returned to Leo's side. Through their bond, Leo felt the dragon's decision. These others were interesting, but Leo was home. Quillen showed them to quarters, a small room with a bed, a desk, and a window. Pip immediately claimed the corner near the heating unit and curled up. Rest tonight, Quillen said. Tomorrow we'll talk about what comes next. But next came sooner than expected. Leo woke to alarms blaring through the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. He grabbed his jacket and ran for the command center with Pip right behind him. The center was chaos. Aliens shouted at displays showing sensor data. Quillen stood at the center, her 4 arms working different controls. What's happening? Leo asked. Draari fleet, 15 ships, they found us. Quillen's face was grim. Someone must have talked or they tracked you here. On the main display, Leo saw them, warships in formation approaching fast. Leading them was a corvette he recognized, Roth Valen's ship. Can we run? Not fast enough. Station this size can't outmaneuver warships. We have shields, but they won't last long against that firepower. Leo watched the fleet approach and felt Pip press against his leg. 2 months ago, he had been a simple cargo hauler. Now he was responsible for bringing death to hundreds of refugees. Let me talk to them, Leo said. Maybe I can negotiate, turn myself in. They won't negotiate. Roth Valen doesn't compromise. Quillen looked at the screen with centuries of sadness in her eyes. He's killed too many already. But Leo was already moving to the communications station. He opened a channel to the fleet. This is Leo Bennett of the cargo ship Drift Runner. I'm the one you want. Let the station go and I'll surrender. The reply came fast. Roth's voice was cold and precise. You have contaminated Draari property with human influence. The creature you harbor must be destroyed, along with every other genetic failure taking shelter in that station. They're not failures, they're just different. Different is failed. The Draari way has maintained our strength for 10,000 years. We do not tolerate weakness. Leo felt Pip's fear through their bond, but also something else. Anger. The dragon understood more than Leo had realized. Your way threw away something precious, Leo said. Pip is smart, loyal, strong in ways you don't recognize. You're the ones who failed, not him. Roth's laugh was harsh. A human lecturing me on Draari honor. Your species abandoned your own planet. Tell me about failure. We learned from it, you haven't. The channel went silent. Then Roth spoke again, different tone now, dangerous. I challenge you to single combat. Human tradition, I believe. If you win, my fleet leaves. If I win, you die and we cleanse the station. You have 1 hour to accept. The communication cut off. Quillen grabbed Leo's arm. Don't do this. He's a trained warrior. You're a cargo hauler. I'm a cargo hauler who saved a dragon's life. I can figure this out too. Leo looked at Pip, who stared back with complete trust. Besides, I'm not fighting to win. I'm fighting to buy time. Time for what? Leo pulled up the station's communication array. Time to tell everyone in the galaxy what's really happening here. Time to show them that Roth's way isn't strength, it's fear. He started recording. The observation deck had the best view of the nebula and the worst view of the approaching fleet. Leo stood in the center of the large room, checking his equipment. Plasma cutter, grappling hook, magnetic clamps, tools from his cargo hauling days, nothing meant for combat. Across from him, Roth Valen waited with perfect stillness. The Draari warrior was twice Leo's size, covered in dark purple scales that looked like armor. His claws could tear through metal. His tail alone could break bones. Around the edges of the deck, refugees watched. Hundreds of aliens who had found safety at Haven's Gate. Pip sat at the front, surrounded by the other dragons. Through their bond, Leo felt the dragons' terror and faith fighting each other. Quillen stood between the fighters. The terms are clear: combat until surrender or death. Winner's demands will be honored. Begin when ready. She stepped back. Roth moved forward immediately, fast for something so large. Leo dove sideways as claws swept through the space his head had occupied. He rolled and came up running, putting distance between them. Running already? Roth's voice carried contempt. Is this human courage? Leo didn't answer. He was studying the environment, looking for advantages. The observation deck had support columns, maintenance panels, and large windows. A ladder led to an upper walkway. Everything could be a weapon if used right. Roth charged again. This time Leo grabbed a magnetic clamp and threw it at the nearest support column. The clamp activated and Leo used his grappling hook to swing around the column, keeping the metal between them. Tricks, Roth said, typical of lesser species. Lesser species adapt, Leo shot back. We survive by thinking, not just by being big. He moved to another column, always keeping something solid between him and Roth. The Draari warrior was stronger and faster, but the space limited his movements. Those wings couldn't spread fully in here. That tail couldn't swing without hitting obstacles. Roth realized the problem and changed tactics. He breathed fire, a stream of flame that turned the air to furnace heat. Leo barely made it behind a maintenance panel before the fire hit. The metal glowed red. Through the bond, Pip's fear spiked. Leo sent back calm he didn't feel, trying to reassure the dragon. But his options were running out. He couldn't keep dodging forever. The broadcast was still going out, though. Every moment Leo survived, the galaxy watched. They saw a human with tools facing a warrior with natural weapons. They saw refugees watching, hoping. They saw everything the Draari tried to hide. Leo climbed the ladder to the upper walkway. From here he could see the whole deck, could plan his moves better. Roth followed, his weight making the metal groan. "Your dragon should have died in that disposal chute," Roth said, climbing steadily. "The weak must be culled. It is the only way to maintain purity." "Purity," Leo said, backing along the walkway. "You keep using that word, but what you really mean is fear, fear of anything different, fear that your way isn't the only way. Our way built an empire, built on throwing away anyone who doesn't fit." Leo reached the end of the walkway, nowhere left to run. "How many dragons like Pip have you killed? How many could have been brilliant or kind or special in ways your empire can't recognize?" Roth was close now, claws reaching out. "Their death prevents the weak from spreading, prevents contamination of our bloodlines. Prevents evolution, prevents growth." Leo grabbed the railing. "My species almost died because we were too rigid. We learned that diversity is strength, not weakness. You haven't learned that yet." Roth lunged. Leo dropped off the walkway, using his grappling hook to control the fall. He hit the deck hard, pain shooting through his shoulder. But he was alive and moving. The refugees had started chanting something. At first, Leo couldn't understand it. Then he realized they were chanting in different languages, all saying the same thing. "Different is strong, different is strong." Roth heard it too. For the first time, uncertainty crossed his face. Leo stood up, hurting but not beaten. "You can kill me. You can destroy this station." But that broadcast went to every corner of the galaxy. Everyone saw what you're really afraid of. They saw that your empire is built on murder and fear. "They will forget." "No, because there are others like Pip. Other dragons you threw away. Other species who reject their own people. They're all watching. And now they know there's a place they can come, a place where being different isn't death." Roth charged one last time, but he was angry now, not controlled. Leo saw the opening and took it. He activated the last magnetic clamp and threw it at Roth's leg. It stuck. Then Leo hit the control that linked the clamp to the metal walkway above. The magnetic field activated with massive force. Roth's leg was yanked upward, throwing him off balance. The warrior crashed into a support column. The impact rang through the deck like a bell. Leo didn't wait. He grabbed his plasma cutter and ran forward. But instead of attacking, he cut through the railing next to where Roth had fallen. The metal section fell, trapping the warrior's wing underneath. "Surrender," Leo said, breathing hard. "You can't win this. Even if you break free and kill me, you've already lost. The galaxy saw everything." Roth struggled, but the metal held. Through the windows, his fleet waited, watching their leader trapped by a human with tools. Slowly, Roth stopped fighting. He looked at Leo with something new in his eyes. Not respect, but not just contempt either. Recognition, maybe. Understanding that this battle was always about more than just strength. "I yield," Roth said quietly. The observation deck erupted in cheers. Aliens of 100 species celebrating together. Pip ran to Leo, nearly knocking him over. Through their bond came pure joy and relief. Quillen stepped forward. "The terms are met. Roth Valen must honor his word. The fleet will leave." Roth stood slowly, pulling his wing free. He looked at Pip for a long moment. "The creature lives, for now, but the High Council will not forget this." "Let them remember," Leo said. "Let them remember that throwing away the different means throwing away the future." Roth walked to the airlock without another word. His ship left an hour later, the fleet following. 6 months passed like a dream Leo kept expecting to end. Haven's Gate had become home in a way nowhere else ever had. The station grew every week as more refugees arrived, bringing stories of seeing the broadcast and deciding to risk everything for a chance at safety. Pip had grown massive, no longer the dying baby from the disposal chute. His bronze scales shone bright, and his wingspan stretched nearly 4 meters when fully extended. But more than size, his mind had developed. The telepathic bond between him and Leo was strong now, carrying actual concepts and simple words. They worked together running station security. Leo's tactical thinking combined with Pip's ability to sense threats made them an effective team. 3 times they had stopped smugglers trying to bring weapons into Haven's Gate. Twice, they had rescued ships damaged by asteroid impacts. Right now they stood at the main viewport watching another ship dock. This one was small and badly damaged, limping into the bay on emergency power. Leo grabbed his toolkit and headed down with Pip following. The airlock opened to reveal a family. 2 adults and 3 children of a species Leo didn't recognize. They looked like walking plants with bark-like skin and leaves instead of hair. The children hid behind their parents, frightened. "We saw the broadcast," the father said in halting common language. "Our world says children like ours are cursed. They wanted to burn them. We ran." Leo looked at the kids. They seemed healthy, just different colors than their parents. Green instead of brown, such a small thing to condemn children over. "You're safe now," Leo said. "Quillen will get you quarters and food. The kids can go to school here with others like them." The mother started crying. Relief, Leo realized. She had expected rejection even here. Pip moved forward and gently touched his snout to the smallest child's hand. The kid giggled, fear forgotten. Through their bond, Leo felt Pip's satisfaction. He was learning what Leo had shown him, that everyone deserved protection, that being different was something to celebrate, not destroy. Later in their quarters, Leo worked on reports while Pip sprawled across half the room. The dragon had gotten too big for the corner by the heating unit. Now he just made the whole room warm with his body heat. A message notification appeared on Leo's datapad. He opened it and read with growing concern. "Problem?" Pip's thought came through clear now, actual word concepts instead of just feelings. "Maybe the Galactic Council wants to meet with Quillen. They're officially recognizing Haven's Gate as a protected sanctuary." "Good thing. Should be, but politics are complicated." Leo set the pad down. "Recognition means rules, inspections, official oversight. Could change everything we've built here." Pip's head lifted. "We adapt like you taught me." Leo smiled. "Yeah, like I taught you." A knock on the door interrupted them. Quillen entered, her forearms full of datapads. "Leo, we need to talk about the council meeting. They want you there." "Me, I'm just security." "You're the symbol, the human who saved the dragon. Your story started all of this." She set the pads down. "The galaxy is changing because of what you did, because you refused to walk away from something that needed help." "I didn't do anything special, just couldn't leave him there." "That's exactly what made it special." Quillen pulled up a holographic display showing statistics. 17 new sanctuary stations have been established in the past 6 months. 43 species have started reform movements questioning their own cultural practices about outcasts. The broadcast reached billions. Leo looked at Pip, who was watching the conversation with intelligent eyes. "What do they want from me at this meeting?" "To tell your story, to explain why one human's choice matters, to show that compassion isn't weakness." 3 days later, Leo stood in a conference room facing representatives from 20 major species. Pip sat beside him, too large for a normal chair. The dragon's presence made several delegates nervous. Others looked curious. The council chairman, a being made of energy fields contained in a mechanical body, spoke first. "Leo Bennett, your actions have caused significant disruption to established cultural practices across multiple systems. Some species are grateful, others are angry. Explain yourself." Leo stood. Public speaking wasn't his strength, but he'd learned a few things from living at Haven's Gate. I found a dying baby in the trash. I couldn't leave him there. That's not disruption. That's just being decent. But you knew it violated Draari law. Their law was wrong. Laws that say some people are worth less than others are always wrong. Humans learned that the hard way, nearly destroyed ourselves over it. A Draari delegate stood, scales flashing with anger. You lecture us on law, your species abandoned. Earth. We did, and we learned from it. Learned that diversity keeps species alive. Learned that throwing away the different means throwing away solutions to problems we haven't faced yet. Leo put his hand on Pip's shoulder. This dragon was supposed to die because he'd be smaller than average, but he's smarter, faster, more adaptable than any dragon I've seen. The Draari threw away an advantage because it didn't look like what they expected. Silence filled the room. Then a delegate from a species Leo didn't recognize spoke. Our world has similar practices. After seeing your broadcast, our youth started questioning them. Change is happening whether we want it or not. The chairman's energy field flickered. The question becomes what we do with Haven's Gate and stations like it. Do we regulate them, control them, or do we accept that change has arrived? An old delegate, something reptilian and wise-looking, finally spoke. The human asks nothing from us except to be left alone to help others. Perhaps that is answer enough. We recognize Haven's Gate and all sanctuaries like it. We protect them under galactic law, and we learn from what they teach us. The vote was close, but it passed. Walking back to their quarters after the meeting, Pip sent a thought to Leo. What now? Now we keep doing what we've been doing, help people who need it, build something better. Together, always together. They passed the docking bay where the plant family's ship was being repaired. The children were playing with other refugee kids, all different species, all accepted. That baby who expected nothing in that disposal chute had helped create this, had helped show the galaxy that different wasn't wrong. Leo looked at Pip, who looked back with trust and affection that crossed species and culture. One human gave everything to one dragon, and together they gave hope to thousands more.